Alright, we are clearing our dailies here. So this is the standard Niv learn deck. We're just adding 2 additional learn spells here, summoning and start from scratch. Just to play off with the supreme synergies, we're just gonna run it like that. So our first match here, share a server. There's only 2 matches today because you'll see why when we get into the length of this game. So our opponent has a Gigantha, which leads me to believe it could be Rakdos Sacrifice. So we'll keep this hand because we have Learn into Vanishing Verse, whatever we need, and they drop a Cauldron Familiar. We get a Rafine's Tower down. So ideally we would love it if we could get this exiled with the Vanishing Verse. Fortunately we dodge the Thoughtseize and the Cadavan, so immediately I'm going to play here and see what our opponent does. In hindsight this was risky because of things, but they go for the Thoughtseize, so we go for the Cauldron Familiar and it's exiled. They look at our hand. They take Niv Mizzet, which is a fair shout. Hit us with the Unlucky Witness. Drop a Croxer. I decided to drop the Island, which in hindsight might have been a mistake. More land drops would have been better here. So I choose to drop the land tapped and play the Cram Sessions. I'm going to grab an Environmental Science here. We need to grab red. Opponent drops the tap land, and they drop the Fable, which is probably going to win them this match. Yes, that's how I feel about Fable. So we'll drop the Environmental Science, fix ourselves here with red. Missing the land drop here was very awkward. They get to loot with Fable. They don't, so inevitably they've got a great hand. They get a treasure from the attack, we go down to 16 again. They put Gigantha into hand, which is interesting. We get a land tapped here. I choose to go for the One We Might, and I choose here to try and force them to give me white mana if I can find a Leyline Binding to get rid of the Fable and the Mirrorbreaker. Our opponent goes for the the Fatal Push, but doesn't actually get it down because they didn't trigger Revolt. We find Assassin's Trophy, so the Reflections of Kiki-Jiki here is going to flip. They go for the attack here. I block the token. I want to get rid of the token, kill the Fable, the Reflections if we can. Our opponent taps out for a Gigantha here. We get a land here, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get a blocker down because it could be dangerous here with Niv, but we get a terrible Niv, only finding Klothys and Wandering Mind. We drop in Mayhem Devil here. I think Klothys has to come out these decks. It's not the synergy I need it to be anymore. They get a Mayhem Devil here, attack in. I choose to negate as much damage as possible here by blocking the Gigantha. Force him to use some of the sack triggers to take out Niv Mizzet. But unfortunately here, they have a Reflections now. I really should have dealt with that before playing the Niv. So we drop a Klothys here, and I decide I want to use the Assassin's Trophy on the Mayhem Devil in response to them activating Mayhem Devil. But they get a Witch's Oven and a Cauldron Familiar here. So we're pretty much done for here because I wait too late here. So they get another Mayhem Devil and they get to trigger the loop here. So we pretty much are just dead, so I just concede to move time. However, if you're in this scenario like I was, I would advise not conceding because as you'll see here, we went very close to time. So Klothys comes out. We need to bring in the Scrabble Claws. And I run the Scrabble Claws because I play them like old school relics in so I bring back in the Klothys. I play them like old school relics. I'll activate them as many times as I can to try and force our opponents to keep their graveyard low. We get terrible opening hand, Malta 6. Questionable, but it's pretty solid here. So I'm going to get rid of the Vanishing. Oh, what do I get rid of? Yeah, Assassin's Trophy. And I get the Scrabbling Claws down immediately to avoid a Thoughtseize on turn 1. Opponent drops a tap land, so we're pretty good here. We'll drop a tap Triome and pass back. Our opponent goes for a Duress here. Takes our Vanishing Verse, which in hindsight if they knew better, is actually a mistake on us, because this is way more versatile for us, the Cram Sessions. We'll get the Environmental Science here. We want to get up to 5 lands for Niv if we can. Let's get white mana so we have all 5 colours now. And then let's get rid of their graveyard. As I said, we just gotta tax their graveyard every turn if we can. They drop their Mayhem Devil on free. I use the Fable Passage, which is slightly unfortunate because I was trying to, although we are on high life here, another benefit of running the learn lessons. So here I tap because I really want to keep the white mana open, because if I can hit a Leyline Binding off this Wandering Mind, which I don't, I take the Angrass Rampage. In hindsight, because I know it can kill the Mayhem Devil, provided they don't drop any creatures, but they have a Blood Tithe, get a blood on the table. They attack in. I choose no blocks here. Pass the turn, we get an Assassin's Trophy, so let's cast Environmental Science. It also gains us 2 life, which is relevant in this long grindy matchup. We'll grab another black here, drop a land. We're going to keep 1 mana open to put more hate on the graveyard, because we can sack the Scribble Claw to get rid of a specific card, aka a cat if we get the opportunity. They drop a Den of the Bugbear. They only go in with the Mayhem Devil, so again, we're on 19 life, we're pretty much okay here. I want to see what they play. They don't play anything, so in their end step, I'm just going to Assassin's Trophy the Mayhem Devil. They go for a Deadly Dispute here. I'm going to just exile that, because we're still in their end step here. Well, no, we exiled, sorry, their Mayhem Devil. I'm not sure if they have a way to get it back, but I'm just going to keep the graveyard as empty as possible. And we top deck the Leyline Binding, so I'm just going to drop Niv Mizzet here, try to get some solid reloads. We get a pretty decent hand here, so we've got a Kolaghan's for an artifact hate, we have another learn spell to gain life. Opponent goes to their turn. They have the Threaten effect, so we're going to take a lot of damage here. They probably have another stack effect here, so we're just going to wait. I'd like to remind you, in regards to how slow this guy is playing, this gameplay is ×2 speed. They hit us, make a treasure. We wait for them to sack Niv. However, they don't have a Deadly Dispute. They drop a Fable and the Mirror Breaker, and then ironically use a Noxious Gap here to put Niv down. So we're just going to keep again taxing the graveyard. Don't let them fill it up. We draw another Scrabble Clause here. So first things first, I'm trying to consider what I want to do. I'm going to Vanishing Verse the Fable so they don't get a loot, and then I'm going to pass. They activate the Den of the Bugbear, which is perfect for us, so we'll use the Kolaghan's command. We will get back the Niv Mizzet and do 2 damage to the Den of the Bugbear. Our opponent taps for mana. They activate the Blood, discarding a land. We're going to again tax the graveyard. They've managed to get 3 cards in there with our slower pace here. Our opponent swings in, puts us down to 5, so this is getting close, and they have another Den of the Bugbear in hand. We drop our Fable, get another land out here, so you notice we've got all our basics. Going to use Angrass Rampage here, force our opponent to sack a card. They get rid of the Blood Tithe, so that makes me think they could have something in hand, so I'm going to use this to gain life here and get Pest Summoning. And I'm going to use this, yes again, Auto Tapper's trying to F me over. We're going to keep 1 mana open for a Leyline Binding here. So I'm going to drop Leyline Binding, get rid of the token. We can't hit the Den of the Bugbear unfortunately. We're going to hit for 4. We go down to 5. They drop the Cauldron Familiar, which is terrible for us. So what we're going to do then, just keep policing the graveyard. Just get rid of as many creatures as we can. And cards, sorry, in their graveyard. This also taxes their time because a Rakdos player that can't play very well is not really the best here. We break 2 pests and we pass the turn here, so we are very close to dead. Opponent has another Mayhem Devil. which puts us on the back burner here. And they have another Furnace Rains. They shock in a land, go to combat. I'm going to choose to block the cat here. So we're going to lose the pests, go down to 2. And now if they try some shenanigans to get the cat back, we can kill it with the Scrabble Claws. Opponent sacks both their treasures, putting us down to 1 to put the Mayhem Devil... Well, sorry, no. They kill the pests to prevent us from getting it back and put us down to 2. So we're just going to keep taxing their graveyard. Like I said, 4 cards in there, so we can get rid of the cat now because we just do this here. They have nothing left in their hand, so we just need to find a way to survive. And Cosmic Rebirth might be that way. So we can't risk running the Niv here. They could have a way to get it back. So we're going to Cosmic Rebirth, get back the Wandering Mind, and it taps the white mana, which is needed, which then makes me realize. So we get the Assassin Trophy here. We're going to pass, let's see what our opponent does. They go for Thoughtseize here, so let's Assassin's Trophy. Actually, sorry, first we'll get rid of the cat in their graveyard, because if the Thoughtseize goes there, they'll have 3 cards, and we can't hate that card out. So here, cat's gone. Let's Assassin's Trophy, kill the Mayhem Devil. Opponent's going to get a land out of it. We're going to lose our Niv here. But if we can find a land, we can flicker the entire board here. So they come in with the Den of the Bugbear and attack. We will definitely trade and take out the land. We're going to go down to 3 again. And we find Supreme. So this is perfect. We drop Supreme, it's immune to all threaten effects. And if we can survive till our next turn, we will draw a card and we can double Cram Session. Our opponent just deploys the Gigantha. Goes to combat. Swings in, we'll just take out one of the pest tokens here. We're going to keep the hate on their graveyard. And they just concede. Probably trying to save time because they know that we can do some crazy stuff. I like the way the deck's looking here, so we're going to run it back. Long matches here. Apologies for the tickle cough, but my allergies are still going here. We still got a rare British summer. So opponent here takes a long time sideboarding. So strategies for against Rakdos, as you can see here, you got to put the hate on the graveyard, maybe take out the oven if you can, and you got to just, if you have combo removal like on Ward Ego, that's a great counter. Alright, the third match here. We actually have a keepable 7 because we have Tyrant Scorn, which is great if they have anything. They have a turn 1 oven, which is terrible for us, but they don't deploy a cat. So using this now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up Tyrant Scorn, see if they drop what they drop with 3 mana, because it could be influential here. They drop Obnixilis the Adversary, so we're just going to Growth Spiral in response here, start dumping our lands down. Again, we don't have red mana, which could be something to look at in the database. However, we get an Edgar, who is perfect here because all their effects are kill. They don't have any exile that I know of in the black-red version. And any effects that will just kill Edgar will start making us lifelinking tokens. Unless they specifically have Graveyard Hate. But I'm going to choose to take 2 damage here, which is a bit of a risk, but I know we can gain it back with our Cram Sessions. They drop a Mayhem Devil. We go to combat. We draw, and we get a thing. So I'm going to use Edgar here to attack the Obnixilis, put the pressure on it. They block with the... in hindsight, I should have done this before combat. So we'll just use Tyrant Scorn now to kill the Mayhem Devil. We'll take 2 damage here. We'll use a Cram Session and grab ourselves an Environmental Sciences. We're back up to 18. They have another Mayhem Devil, so we need a way to deal with that if we can get it. Opponent taps down the Obnixilis, which is interesting. We get a Xander's Lounge here, which secures us a few things. So I'm going to hold back Edgar here, because no point attacking into the board. We have some instant speed spells we can cast. We can basically go for the cantrip into a Vanishing Verse if we want to. Our opponent Deadly Disputes. Shocks in a land. Cast an Omnixilus using the casualty effect. So now, yeah, we are taking a bit of damage here. We go down to 15. They make a devil. Tick it up. So in response, we're going to Vanishing Verse this. Make them sack it. We're going to cast a Growth Spiral while we can here. Basically, and the Tyrant Scorn off the top is perfect. So the way is clear now for us. We're going to discard the Supreme Verdict to not gain any more life. They have a second oven, which is pretty terrifying, if I'm not honest. Right, we're going to Tyrant Scorn, take out Mayhem Devil here. They will sack it in response just to get another trigger. Puts us down to 11. We'll attack the Omnixilus with 2 loyalty so we can't make another devil. Play a land, crack it. Get into basic land. Cast the Environmental Science, just get another land out of our deck and gain 2 more life here, which could be pretty relevant considering the situation they've got set up here with the oven. They activate the Den of the Bugbear here. Attack us for 4. They plus, we'll take the 2 damage down to 7. This is a bit scary here. We get Leyline Binding, so now we're in a great position. So we'll use Niv-Mizzet here to try and reload. We get a few good hits here. Cosmic Rebirth. We have the Leyline Binding here, which is huge. So let's attack with Edgar. I'm 90% sure they're holding up a Threaten here. So what I want to wait is, I want them to Threaten, take the Niv, and then we will just Leyline Binding the Niv before they can attack in with it to kill us. Deadly Dispute, draws 2 cards, makes a treasure. This is perfect for us now because now they can't. Yep, there's Fraying the Reins. Beginning of combat, we'll just get the Leyline Binding out here. They sack it to make 2 food. We're totally okay with this. They look at our mana base for some reason in our graveyard, even though they have literally nothing to get out of it. They go for 40s here, which is hilarious because whatever they take, we still get our trigger. We can drop the Wandering Mind here. We'll find a Cram Sessions to gain life here. Use Cram Sessions. I'm going to grab Pest Summoning here. I'm going to gum up my board with as many things that gain me life as possible. Now we can swing in with Edgar, put him down to 16. So we got him on the clock now. They do have a lot of food here and 2 ways to sack. So they could start doing a loop if they find a cat. They drop a Fable and a cat, which is bad for us. We find a land here. So what we're going to do is here, we're going to go into combat. Just force some triggers here. They jump Edgar and they take the damage down to 14. We go up to 11. Now once we sacrifice this Fable to get our last basic out. Is it our last basic? No, sorry, we had 2 in there. Once we get that out, we can grab Yorion. Flicker our entire board, and we can now use our Leyline Binding for the second time. We will be getting rid of this Fable of the Mirror Breaker before they can loot any cards away. Fable finds a Scribble Clause, so we might as well take that because we can start hating on their graveyard. Basically right now we're at a race, so they can't really hit us and we have enough blockers. They don't want to flip Edgar to give us lifelinkers, so they're just trying to see if their little triggery flip over here can get them the win. They use Deadly Dispute to draw 2 cards. I check, I feel like they've cast like 10 of them this game. They Fortsies us, take our Scribble Claw, which is annoying but not the worst. They're still on 15 here, so we could probably do it. Yep, there's another Deadly Dispute. They're 3 mana in hand. They get the Cauldron Familiar back. They are down to 9 minutes here. We find Supreme, so this is the game changer. So with this Supreme, we still have Supreme Verdict in hand. We can go to combat. We're going to attack with everything here, because this is absolutely perfect. So one of the reasons why I like to learn cards with Supreme is this chain here. So we're on 7 and we're in danger of dying. So we can jumpstart the cram sessions by discarding a card from our hand. Grab a lesson, in this case we'll grab the Ink Summoning. Then we can jumpstart the second copy from our graveyard, discarding the Ink Summoning, which we can cast again later anyway. Grab a Containment Breach. So we just gained 8 life against an aggro deck to stabilize. So they start looping stuff. As you can see, their timer is just ticking away here. We're up 16 here. Opponent's just doing cat oven stuff. They get us down to 13, they're on 13, but we have a significantly larger board here. They cast a Bloodline Harvester. Activate the blood token. They're looking for a Mayhem Devil to try and make this lethal. They don't appear to have it. They use a Noxious Grip to kill the Yorion, because Niv Mizzet Supreme has hexproof from monocolored. They don't do anything, we just pass our turn here. So I'm just going to use Containment Breach to kill their oven and they concede. A long and fun match, but really cool. So second match here, I wanted to demonstrate, is a terrible player. So we keep 3 cards here. We keep basically 4 or 5 lands and 2 cards. Opponent is a slow playing, basically slow playing Dimir Rogues player who quits out for no reason because we're 80 cards, so they can't mill us, and we've been hating them out. I don't know. Honestly, I can't figure out what's going on in the head of these players. They start with a underground transform land, play their second land, we'll drop another Triome, we'll throw out a Wandering Mind here, see what we can get out of them. They flash in a Soaring Fort Thief, we grab off the top, we grab a Leyline Binding because it's 1 mana, easy to deal with here. Opponent sits here for 5 minutes, considering what to do. Attacks, mills us for 2, we lose 2 lands. Puts us down to 19. We draw another land, because we're great like that. We attack with a Wandering Mind. We cast the Cram Sessions. They don't care for anything, so I think we'll get the Ink Summoning here. Hold up a Leyline Binding. They cast and tap out, so we'll just use Leyline Binding here, take out one of their lords. Yep, same situation as before. They drop their land again. Play a Merfolk Windrobber. Attack, mill us for 2. We get hit for 1. Again, our opponent takes forever to do anything. So in the end step we try the Vanishing Verse, and it works. We find an Niv Mizzet Supreme here who'd be great if we could resolve him. So we go to combat to try and bait some interaction. Fortunately nothing happens, so I'm just going to cast Niv Mizzet Supreme here, see what they do. They do have it, unfortunately. They have the Drown of the Loch. Right, they go to Soaring Fort Thief, attack in, mill 2 again. They have us on 20. We draw a Niv Mizzet, so that's probably not going to resolve here. So we're just going to attack in again. We're still winning the race, so we'll just use Inkling Summoning here, make another 2/1 flyer, put Yorion into hand. They cast into the story, draw a bunch of cards, put in the land. They sit here and consider all the mistakes they've made in their life, including playing rogues, playing this deck, picking a fight with this deck, and they drop a Jace. And yep, they consider what to do with their Jace for another 5 minutes. I genuinely ask if they're still there or they don't realize that they haven't activated yet. They attack in and mill us down. We're still ahead here, we're on 16. I go attacking Wandering Mind. I'm going to attack the Jace to keep it down, try to tempt them to do anything. I'm going to just try Yorion, see what they've got. They have another Drown in the Loch. It's fine. They play a Fabled Passage, crack it. There's not much to say about this match because surprisingly not a lot happened, but the ending is quite hilarious. I think our opponent just does not find an answer and just decides that rather than fight, because we didn't roll over, they just decide they're just going to quit. In fact, they're not even going to quit, they're just going to rope out. Which is why I say, Wizards, please introduce the ability to blacklist, because I do not want to play this guy again, just because of how slow and boring this guy played. We're attacking with 2 creatures here, take out the Jace the Mind Sculptor. We're shocking a land. We try for the Niv Mizzet Reborn. They only have 2 blue mana, so we'll see what they do. They don't have the counter, so let's see what Niv finds us. Not a lot, but he does give us some instant speed interaction.
Reload.
Choose to pass. Our opponent uses their 3rd Drown in the Loch to kill the Niv Mizzet Reborn. Again, they sit here and think because I don't know if they can figure out how to play the deck. They do your double Guild Enforcer, mill us for 4. Go to combat, attack in. So in response, we're going to Cosmic. We're going to grab the Wandering Mind. Put it onto the battlefield. We're going to dig with Wandering Mind. Finds us a Leyline Binding, which is a perfect answer, but we're going to take the Vanishing Verse here. We want the Vanishing Verse because it answers the Thieves Guild Enforcer permanently. So we're still on 13 here, our opponent hasn't really done much. And I have no idea what happens now, but from this point on they literally just rope us. For literally no reason other than we killed one of their guild enforcers. I put the hello out because I'm confused as to what's going on here. I get bored sitting around, so I just start clicking random stuff. And yeah, they just literally salty rope out because we killed 2 of their Field Enforcers. Anyone who plays rogues, can you tell me, does literally your deck have no win cons other than 8 creatures? Or are you just genuinely depending on milling out an opponent? Because if you run into 80 card decks pretty often, you're going to struggle. The beauty of this situation is if we get to untap on our turn, resolve a Kaito, we can force their creature not to attack, swing in, bounce the Wandering Mind back, make the creature not attack, redeploy the Wandering Mind. So we try to cast a Kaito, they ultimately rope out, and it was at the end of the thing. This was the 2nd match where someone decided to salty rope out because they didn't get a perfect game in ranked. So yeah, we got to 29 minutes here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll give them a salty Oko on the way out. Thanks for watching.